And I think we are live. Welcome to this 5 day mastery mapping challenge. I am very excited to be with you guys today. Over the next 5 days, I really hope that you can take time for yourself to tune into yourself. We all have a really great opportunity now, right? Nobody has to do anything. So, this is the perfect time for you to really just tune in to what is going on for you in the world. You. Who are you? That's today's focus. We're going to ask the question, who am I? Because this question is rarely asked by people, and that is where the gold is for you. So I want to encourage you to, whatever is going on, distractions, turn them all off, get your phone out of there and download the workbook and have a look at what it is that we're going to be looking at today. And what I would encourage you to do is to listen to what I have to say and then go away and take time and really do the activities inside the workbook and discover what is coming up for you, because that's all that really matters. That's what's important. What is going on for you, how you answer these questions. Nobody else can answer these questions, only you. And we're going to have fun. So let me lay out the challenge of what is gonna go on for the next 5 days. I've created this workbook and I've created exercises within it. And what we're going to do is we are going to dig into those types of questions. Who am I? Where is your energy going in the world? What is it that is sucking energy out of you? We are going to discover how you do relationships. We're also going to look at how you do your relationship with yourself, how you're spending your time, all that important stuff. And on the fourth day, I'm going to have my good friend Kevin Flanagan with me, and we're going to talk about your relationship with yourself and how you relate to yourself up here. The stories that you tell yourself in your own mind. Because what I found throughout coaching for the last 5 years is that a lot of the time people's problems are narrative based. And what I mean by that is that there's a story that is going on about the world in their head that is optional. It's a choice. So I'm really excited to help you retell your stories about yourself to you over the next 5 days. And I have a couple of recommendations. So what I want you guys to sort of focus on is be as vulnerable as possible with this. And I mean, try and share with the community what is actually going on for you, because I want to create some sort of a community here where we can support each other in our growth. Life is fucking messy, right? Look at the state of what is happening right now. People are panicking, and in some cases that might be legitimate because they might have higher numbers of this virus around them. But the one thing that we have control of is this. And when we can control our mind, when we can control our mindset, we can control our emotions. And the last thing you want to be around this time is an emotional mess and panicking and causing other people to panic. So that's really why this is important. So I would encourage you to be vulnerable in and let's support each other with our growth. So smash a 1 into the comments if that's something that you are interested in doing, being vulnerable and sharing and letting whatever is alive within you out, because that is what is going to make the difference for you in this challenge. I'm going to ask you questions you may have never asked yourself before. We're going to go into the deepest dark crevices of your mind here and ask you to pull the stuff that you might have been afraid to even acknowledge for your whole life, possibly. And the reason for that is because you will increase your self-knowledge. The things that might have been fearful before, you can overcome. And you can overcome them fairly quickly because, again, as I mentioned, it's all about the story that you tell yourself about yourself. So I'm really, really excited. This is gonna be awesome. Um, so I would also recommend. So the whole thing that we're going to be doing is increasing your sense of self knowledge. And I got into self knowledge. I'd say, well, the first sort of thing I read about the mind and subconscious was when I was 18. I read a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and it blew me away because I was like, wow. I intuitively knew that it was true, and I intuitively knew that I was powerful, but I left that behind. So, like, today's theme is about who am I? So you're probably wondering, who the hell am I? If you don't know me from Adam, my name's Rob Duffy. I live in Dublin in Ireland. I'm 40 years of age. A little bit about my background. I grew up in a suburb in Dublin and quite humble beginnings. I didn't really like school, to be honest. School wasn't for me. I spent most of my time getting out of there. We used to jump out the window and not go to school a lot. My friend Gav will attest to that. But I was into football. I was into music, and when I finished school, I got a really easy job because I didn't want to go to into academia and continue studying. So I got a really easy job and I started working for the state in the post office. Really boring, probably one of the worst decisions I ever made. But do you know what? It paid well. And that was something that I was happy to take back then. Um, but with that, because it was so boring, I started taking a lot of drugs and that helped with the boredom. But I got a little bit too into the drugs. And then when I was 21, I had a life changing moment. I was on holidays over in Ibiza, and a little incident happened to me where I took a acid drop and I dropped 4 stories from a balcony, nearly killing myself. And that changed my life. Obviously, I'm still alive to tell the tale. I smashed a couple of bones, but that was a wake up call for me to sort of say, Rob, you better get serious with life here. Life has a end. So when I got home, I got myself into psychotherapy, physical therapy, got myself back together. And that started me thinking about, okay, I'm interested in this thing and understanding what the hell is going on. And I started studying psychology, did a degree in social sciences with psychology, and then I studied a coaching program, also became an NLP practitioner, and I left that job in 2013 and I set up my practice, my coaching practice in 2015. And I love this work. I love coaching people to become better and to love themselves and accept parts of themselves because that's what I wasn't doing back then. I wasn't accepting parts of myself. And I fell in love with self knowledge. And I really, really want to help you guys to fall in love with self knowledge because self knowledge allows you to deepen your relationship with yourself. It allows you to love yourself more. And I know that, everybody wants to love themselves a little bit more because, it's part, if you want to live a bigger life than you currently are and you want to grow, you have to begin by loving yourself and loving what it is that is part of you, all of you, even the bits of ugly. You don't have to absolutely love it, but you need to accept it and say, okay, this is part of me. And if there's something that I absolutely don't want, I can change it because we can change. Our brains are capable of changing and we can change a lot of things about ourselves. So I'm going to really encourage you to become curious about the parts of yourself that you may not be owning at the moment. I'm going to encourage you to increase your emotional literacy. A lot of us say, I wish I was happier. I wish I was this. I wish I was that. But we don't tune into what exactly it is are the real exact feelings like sad, angry, fearful. Those are, they mean something, but they're not specific enough. So I'm going to help you to try and grow your emotional literacy. Um, I'm going to help you grow your sense of awareness. And in doing that, I'm going to really encourage you guys to start a journaling practice. And what I mean by that is to spend at least 15 minutes a day writing down your thoughts. The way I do it is I just sit down, and sometimes I'll type it, sometimes I will write it, but I will just sit down and I will allow a stream of consciousness to just flow through me, and I'll just write. Sometimes it's pure bullshit. It doesn't mean anything until I reach a point where I'm like, okay, this is related to something that actually is going on inside me. And then something of value will come out and I will just let it go. Maybe it's a discussion I had with somebody. Maybe it's something that is related to a relationship. Whatever it is that is important to you, I recommend just writing it out as it exists. Don't censor yourself, just allow it to come out. I would also start encouraging you to spend between 10 minutes and 30 minutes a day just thinking, introspecting. Meditation is good. Some people meditate. But really, what I encourage is just to go inward and attend to what is alive for you. Now you can sit down. I lie down sometimes on my beanbag and I'll just be sitting there and just thinking over what's alive within me. And that allows me to know me better. And sometimes I'll do some breathing exercises and then I will do my introspecting, which allows me to get centered and focused, which is really important. So I've mentioned what is going to be coming up. After this video is finished, I recommend that you go into the activities for day one and talk about it. The who am I exercise and the values exercise is what we're going to do. So I'll explain the who am I exercise. So the who am I exercise is basically, it's for you to really think about the qualities and the characteristics that make you who you are. The person that you are is multifaceted. We are all very complex. We are a web of contradictions sometimes. And what I'm encouraging you to do is to really unpack the whole of you and write it all down. So I would encourage you to get at least 50 qualities or attributes down on paper and to get it all down. But what I would encourage you to do mostly is to not take other people's opinions of you, to take what is real for you, and put all that down. And as you'll see in the exercise, there's levels. So I've created this fictional character called Peter the Parasite, and he comes along and he wants to take your qualities. So the idea is to think about what is it that you'd be willing to give up first. Perhaps those are things that you don't like about yourself. And then another part, he comes along and he wants a third or 30% of your qualities. And so you have to do this 3 times and give 30% for 3 times. And then you're left with the 10% that you value the most about yourself. And that's an interesting exercise for you to think about. Why is it that you value those things? What is it that those qualities allow you to think about yourself? And that's important because if you're valuing certain things over other things, what effect is that having on your life? So I encourage you to take about an hour. It might take even longer than an hour, but stay with it and complete it to the end and answer the questions. And then go on to the values exercise. The values exercise, so I've this guy, Milton Rokic, I think his name is, he came up with he called them instrumental values and terminal values. Instrumental values are defined as a specific method of behavior, whereas terminal values are the ends or the goals that we work towards to live by living by our instrumental values. So I've put a couple of values there. If a specific value isn't there for you, just put it in and think about what are the most important values that you live by in your life. And it's really important to understand what they are, because if we're not owning our values, if we're not living by those values, it has a consequence. Maybe you might find that you've been living somebody else's values, and that can be a bit of a disaster, really, because then you're not living in congruence with who you are, and you're going to have all sorts of contradictions. So, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me see what is going on in the comment section. I see quite a few of you here. Welcome, everybody. Paul, how are you? Diana, how are you? Will, good to see. Good to see you here. By qualities, do you mean positive qualities? I mean both positive and negative. So, whatever's alive, it doesn't have to be positive. It's whatever's alive, whatever you have awareness of, whatever you feel makes you who you are. And that is not a stupid question. There is no such thing as a stupid question, to be honest. Caring too much about what other people think. Absolutely. If that's alive within you, put it down. Absolutely. Have we any other questions? I don't want to go really far past 20 minutes, so keeping this down to about, we're at 16 minutes now. I want this to be snappy and go, go, go. Helen, how are you? Glad you could join us today. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically I want you to download the subscribe, the workbook. It's linked below, and you can get the workbook there, and you can work through what it is that we're going to be doing over the next 5 days. I would encourage, if you're watching the replay, if you have any questions, to put it in there, and we can get a conversation and a dialogue going in there. Maria, how are you? Glad that you could join us. My top 3 values, Kevin, are freedom, honesty, and connecting, real connections with people. That is my top 3 values. What are your top 3? I know freedom is one of yours. This is great. 15 people. Happy to see you all. Have you any other questions? Is it making sense? Does it make sense what I'm saying? Is it clear? If it's not clear, I want to really create some clarity. So if it's not clear, let me know. If you've got a question and you don't want to write it in the thread, you can email me as well at rob@robduffy4, the number 4, coach.com, and I'll be happy to answer your questions there. Nicola, welcome. Andres, welcome. Luca. Evangelos, Agnieszka, David, all very welcome. Glad to have you here. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, we're going to leave it there, and you can go and get to work on getting your list of 50 and working through the exercises. And I will be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we will come back tomorrow and we will go at day 2, which is all about your energy and where you may be losing energy in this world. So I'm not seeing any other questions, which is fantastic. You're all top scholars. So that's great. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for engaging and taking this time for yourself for this challenge. You are going to find this incredibly beneficial. You're going to know yourself better. You're going to create a sense of certainty in here. Even if you can't control the outside world, you can control to a large degree your emotional reality. So thank you all for taking the time today. I am going to leave it there, and we will talk to you all tomorrow. See you soon. Bye bye.